the Drone Champions League, the World Championship of Drone Racing. It's Split 1, the first part of our season for 2024, and race day 5. You join me, Matt Andrews, and our teams, and they are running out of time to qualify for our finals in Abu Dhabi very soon. So the matchups we have for you today start off with Quad Force 1, the runners-up in last year's World Championship, Amari, Propsicle, Leviathan, and Hyper. They have got off to a bad start for 2024. Trying to scalp them will be the DCL Wildcard team. Jugakva, West, Super Spyro and Tom, pilots who are put together to have a chance to show what they can do and are doing well this year. Cyclone Racing will be in the second matchup today. J-Box, the Ice Cheetah, Neon and Yayu, and they want to be moving up the leaderboard, and here's a team they'd love to do it against. China Dragons, who are alongside him in our leaderboard. They've got Ion, Gabri, Mojo and Creator Gamer, and after a great 2023, they'd like to be doing better in 24. Those China Dragons are just behind Cyclone Racing, and Quad Force 1 are down in 6th. They have to get a win over the DCL Wildcard team. They should be far ahead of them. The two matchups today will have 3 races in each, with 2 pilots from each team racing against each other, then the other pairs, and then the DCL Big Heat with all 8 racing at the same time. And all of those races have 4 points on offer to the winner, then 3, then 2, and then 1 point for 4th place, even in the Big Heat when there are 8 pilots flying. If you score more points across those 3 races, your team will get 3 points on that leaderboard. A draw will get you 1. Nobody wants 0. Now the track we're going to be flying around today, well, it's a return to our home of Vaduz in the 6th smallest country in the world. That's Liechtenstein. Here's St. Florence Cathedral. Built in the 19th century, we're going to tower dive it before we head to some rooftops. Swing around a tight left into the alleyway. Then we head towards our favourite government building. We've raced around here many times in real life. There's a car park with these 2 Foxeer gates next door. Back to the government building, swinging around over the top, long left descent and then a hard 180 to get back through the DCL, going close to the tree. Over the Parliament building of Liechtenstein, through the block trade duo, swing another left descent here through the Gemfound drop, under the bridge, quick right and left, and then back onto the main road here, and a long sort of slalom. It's not your typical slalom, it's very wide. Find a good line through there, you can really make up some time on your competitors. Quad Force 1 against the Wildcard team. Let's get this started. Sending it first, Hyper and Amari against Super Spyro and Tom. And away we go. Across the roundabout and towards the cathedral. And then down through that, and it's a good start by everybody. The Wildcard team in red, the American team of Quad Force 1 in blue. And really, the Wildcard team pilots have a good opportunity to make a statement here against a Quad Force 1 team that are not on top form. And the Quad Force 1 pilots really should be grabbing wins and second places here. Let's see what they can do. It's Hyper currently in the lead. His teammate Amari is 2 seconds behind and solidly in 3rd. Behind Super Spyro, who we're on board with now, who's chasing Hyper. Tom, unfortunately, a little way behind. At the back, Super Spyro to the lead. Hyper had a problem getting into the slalom, but he's right with Super Spyro as they're making their way onto lap number 2. Down on the tyre dive, and it's still Super Spyro just in the lead. Over the rooftops, and he's getting away from Hyper. Look, there's half a second between the 2 of them now. Hyper very close to the rooftops, hugging that very tightly. That's a great move. That's caught up a few tenths of a second. He's taken a bit of a quicker route between those gates too. And he's with Super Spyro, but crashed again. Hyper, what happened to you? The block trade duo is all Super Spyros. There's now a second between that pilot and this one for Quad Force 1. Tom has got past Amari after Amari's had a lot of time lost from a big crash. That's him down in 4th. The Wildcard team could grab a real surprise in the first race of the day, but Hyper is back in the front again. Oh, now Super Spyro. Oh, he was so in the battle. He's got to stay in it now. Come on, Super Spyro. You had some confidence to build here from being with Hyper. I don't think he's scared of him. Hyper maybe getting away a little bit there. Super Spyro trying to make a shorter route to the rooftops. Not caught him yet, and we're halfway through the 3rd lap. Hyper corkscrewing beautifully through the block trade duo. Here's Super Spyro. You can see he's a little bit twitchier. He was ever so close to the apex, that pylon, and he's got this twitchiness, which is because of a bump he's had that's cost him quite a lot of time. Hyper is over 2 seconds in front of him. This race is looking like a bad start for Quad Force 1, as although could be a very clean win for Hyper, with Amari down in 4th place, they're going to get 4 points for a win, 1 point for 4th. They're going to get 5 in total, the same as the Wildcard team. That's not giving them an advantage. That's not the 7 points to 3 they would have liked to have grabbed from this matchup. Amari is 40 seconds behind, having trouble, and he is brand new to the DCL this year. Super Spyro is flying well. Tom, also new to the DCL. We haven't seen much of him. He's solidly in 3rd space in the middle of nowhere. And Super Spyro is now many seconds behind Hyper, who's going to be coming to the finish. There's the finish gate. That's Hyper's race. The first points go to Quad Force 1. Super Spyro just gets through there. There was a little bump on that gate. But he's going to come in 2nd. And then all these results are going to cancel each other out. Hyper with a win for Quad Force 1. A few bumps along the way. So a tight start by everybody, a good start, including Tom, who put in some really good flying before we lost him during the race. A little bit too far behind it. Super Spyro jostling for the lead. It was Hyper coming out of that dive quite slowly, a little bit swingy left and right, but at the end of that 2nd lap, he was back in the chase with Hyper, who hits the 5th gate of the slalom, and that's how Hyper got past him. At the end, Hyper is 8 seconds clear. 5 points all in the first race. Here comes Propsicle and Leviathan against Chagakva and West. Now we have a big difference in experience here. Propsicle was the Pilot of the Year in 2023, scored the most points out of every pilot all year long. He is the captain for Quad Force 1, as he has been since he was 14 years old. Chagakva, on the other hand, was in his first season in the DCL last year with the Haven Airborne team, who have now disbanded. That's why he's on the Wildcard team. He is in 2nd place and very much on the chase and keeping with Propsicle. Half a second between them. Leviathan and then West FPV a little bit further behind, but let's stay with Chagakva as he goes through the block trade duo. Oh, only just got through there. Propsicle now a little bit further out in the lead. 1.5, maybe 2 seconds between him and Chagakva. Then West FPV, who's got past Leviathan, so we have to ask. It's all seemingly going cleanly up front for Propsicle. What is happening to Leviathan down in 4th place? This season, I think I said this last week, and the end of 2023, we haven't seen the Leviathan that we used to see racing. He is struggling, and he's at the back again. It's leaving Propsicle out in front through the Foxear pair of the car park to the Parliament. Here's Chagakva, closed the gap by a few tenths to give him credit. Oh, and now has made that gap much, much bigger. Oh, Chagakva was gaining on him, perhaps throwing a little caution to the wind, as you have to do in this kind of a situation. But now it is Propsicle making his way back down the main road in this big slalom. Chagakva, needs to attack. Only halfway through the race, but he's got to get on with it. Meanwhile, his teammate, West FPV, who's in 3rd, might find himself getting caught by Leviathan and down into 4th as they're getting very close to each other. Propsicle still out in front. He's raced around Vaduz many times. We never, of course, had this track before. We always make new tracks every season. But they know this location pretty well from when we raced here in real life as well as in DCL the game, which you're watching now. Chagakva threading up over the rooftops. Propsicle doing everything cleaner and a little bit faster too. He'll dive under the bridge, go back out away from the main street and head back again. As we see him into the slalom, it's now 3.6 seconds. He's done with the slalom for Chagakva, has even entered it as he's lost another 1.5 seconds. Oh, got to keep this together. Leviathan, though, has lost 10 seconds. He is solidly down in 4th place. Maybe in a tussle with West FPV. Oh, Leviathan. What has happened to Levi Johnson? And this is the situation Propsicle finds himself in with Quad Force 1, and we've talked about it, and it's always worth mentioning again. He will win races. As I said, he was Pilot of the Year last year. But for all the races in which he's coming home with 4 points, he's got teammates usually coming home with 1 or thereabouts. He's done everything he can, and I've said that about him so many times. There's his win, yet another 4 points for Propsicle. But his teammate, in this case, it's Leviathan in 4th place. Chagakva is down in 2nd.
Yes.
That's a good race for him.
Go.
Nice.
Levi, he's in a
Let's
real
go,
mess
Sean.
boys.
before he finishes the 4th lap. Way behind this guy, Propsicle, Silas Aaron with another win for Quad Force 1. So well done to Chagakva for staying with Propsicle for so long. Just a little bit of a clumsy room through there is where the gap started to get away. It never really got very tight from that point onwards. Propsicle cleanly as ever. So he'll be looking to lead his team again in the DCL big heat with all 8 pilots in the air, but they've got to go with him. Good start by everybody, just about 1/10 of a second. And now we've got 7 pilots all separated by less than half a second. Leviathan's at the back again. Oh, this track is a problem for him. Propsicle and Hyper in 1st and 2nd. Tom leading and then just getting caught by Jagakva and Super Spyro. There's 3 wildcard pilots all close behind this leading pair for Quad Force 1 as Amari has gone down into 7th. And he's going to jostle his way and try and get back into a scoring position. Remember, only the top 4 are the ones that score. Here we've got Propsicle and Hyper in a 1-2. Less than a 10th between those 2 pilots. Propsicle just leading Hyper now into the slalom, maybe just stretching a little bit away from him here, but that's all right. That's what they need. Now to St. Florence Cathedral. Down we go with Hyper. Propsicle getting very close to the floor, but it's all good. Hyper, a 10th of a second behind him. I'm going to get caught now. No, he's still ahead, unbelievably, as he's crashed. Super Spyro and Tom and the rest of the wildcard team have all crashed as well. Oh, Propsicle's got clear, beautiful, crisp Liechtenstein air all to himself. Hyper in second, dives down. That's a good corkscrew again, as I said about him on his previous race. Here's Propsicle, who's just away. 2.5 seconds ahead of Hyper, and then Hyper's got about 2.5 seconds between him and Super Spyro. This is looking like a win, and a decent win for Quad Force 1 at last. They needed to outscore the wildcard team. They will hate being in the leaderboard behind the wildcard team. Remember, that team are a team of pilots who've been put together by DCL to have a chance to show the other teams what they can do and give new pilots a chance to get picked up by one of the professional permanent teams in the DCL. Quad Force 1 runners-up in the World Championship last year. They were 3rd many times. Last year they lost it in the last race and ended up being 2nd. There's no way they wanted to be 6th in our leaderboard at this stage or ever in the season. Propsicle doing everything he can to get them out of there. Oh, Hyper! Now there's a problem. Jagakva's passed him and Hyper's made a real mess of the recovery and gone down into 4th. No, surely not. A 5 points all situation again for the 3rd race in a row. They're not just going to cancel each other out in a race. They might tie this whole match up. That'd be 1 point for the season for each team. That's horrible for Quad Force 1 in particular. Jagakva's got no hope of catching Propsicle with an 8-second gap between them. Super Spyro, though, has got Hyper right behind him. Hyper moves up into 3rd. Propsicle is out in front, cleanly flying. He won't realise perhaps what chaos is going on behind him, but he gets the win, and now he'll see. Hyper, can he hang on to 3rd? Propsicle's got his hands in the air. It's 2nd for Jagakva, and there's Hyper.
Yes, thank freaking goodness, Mesa.
Propsicle is so thankful. What about Super Spyro?
Oh my god. I could have beat Hyper. Bro, I crashed so much, I swear.
If Super Spyro had beaten Hyper, then it would have been a tie. Instead, Propsicle gets the 4 points, and Hyper just about hung on. About halfway through lap number 1, it was only a second between 7 pilots. Propsicle and Hyper in that 1 and 2 throughout, and then Hyper gets caught here, manages to recover from that one, but at the end of lap number 3, look at this, twice into the slalom gate, once into the building, hits everything. Had to push to try and catch at the finish, which Propsicle thankfully had wrapped up for the team, leading Quad Force 1 to a super important win, their first one of 2024. It comes on race day 5 by the narrowest of margins. Now it's time for 3rd and 4th of our leaderboard to face each other. Cyclone Racing against China Dragons, Yayu and J-Box against Gabri and Creator Gamer. Nice quick start for everybody around the roundabouts. No dramas around the tree. Here comes the dive. Some lower, some higher on the entry, but all nicely done. Yayu 0.3 of a second ahead of basically everybody else, who are all very tightly clustered together around the government rooftop and into the Foxeer duo, and Yayu stretches a little bit away. There's about 0.2 of a second between the other 3 pilots. Now we start to stretch apart a little bit. Gabri gets passed by J-Box over the rooftop. Oh, that was a lovely move by J-Box, and he's right behind Gabri now. Right in front of him. Just slipped a little bit behind him. 2nd and 3rd, nice and tight. There's Yayu leading them all down the main straight at the end of lap number 1. About 6 or 7 tenths between him and this pilot, Gabri Prince. And then J-Box trying to stay with him, but Gabri's getting away from J-Box, and Yayu is getting far away from everyone. Just a bit smoother, just a bit tighter and faster. Yayu through the car park with a bit of decent space around him now. He'll weave back to the rooftop and then down by the stage. Gabri tries to stay with him. 1.2 seconds and a little bit more. J-Box still with him though. Oh no, there he goes. There's J-Box past Gabri up into 2nd place. Gabri very slow on the recovery in the block trade gates. Yayu with 3-4 seconds already, and we're at the halfway point. Everybody else is really struggling here. This is J-Box in second, just chucking that drone around like it's an opposite team who are in front of him, but it's his teammate Yayu who's been brilliant for Cyclone. He was part of the World Championship Team X-Blades Racing last year. He moved in the transfer window to Cyclone Racing, which is a great move for him as X-Blades have dropped out. Now Cyclone are doing so well with Yayu, and J-Box was important to them last year, but he is struggling to make it work in second place at the moment. Yayu is flying cleanly, J-Box is bumping around a little bit. The chase from Gabri and Creator Gamer though and China Dragons has long fallen behind. Final lap here, this is J-Box, smoothing it out a little bit. Just saw a couple of orange drones in front of him as he came out of the dive, but they're many seconds behind him. That is Yayu looking so tidy. He heads up to the government building, J-Box is approaching this area now, here he is. And Yayu in trouble in the courtyard, and J-Box is coming underneath him, and you might have just seen Yayu flash overhead. He was too high, had real problems there, and unbelievably J-Box is in front of him with only the Main Street slalom to go. Here's J-Box, where is Yayu? He's right at the back of the picture. There he goes, it's a 1-2 for Cyclone, but not as we expected.
Nearly got wet pulled.
J-Box got the win after one mistake from Yayu, happened to be a really big one. Oh, that race went back and forth. Gabri was in such good contention earlier on, he ended up in fourth place, a few seconds behind, but he was really fighting earlier on. This is where Gabri over the building lost some time on the second lap. That put paid to his chances of catching the lead, which ended up to be purple for J-Box. The Ice Cheetah and Neon against Ion and Mojo. Let's see what happens to Cyclone now with this 1-2 they just had, giving them a 7 points to 3 lead. Oh, that's a terrible start for Mojo. Brand new pilot for China Dragons this year. Missed the first turns and hit a gate square on. Oh no. His teammate Ion though, brilliant pilot who's been with us for a little while in the DCL. He is really in the thick of the action between Neon and the Ice Cheetah, and Mojo is about 3 seconds behind. Out from here. Ooh, close to the Parliament building. That's the Parliament one, the brick one. The other one is the government building. This is the capital of Liechtenstein, and we raced around here in real life many times. Such a gracious country, so welcoming to the DCL, and also letting us fly around these incredibly important buildings out of there. Neon on the Ice Cheetah, heading up towards the cathedral, just ahead of Ion now. It's gone from Ion in the lead to being caught and passed by both of the Cyclone pilots, but there's only 0.3 of a second between them. The Ice Cheetah leading Neon into the Foxeer turns through the car park, and Ion tries to stay with them, but they are just slipping a little further ahead of him now. Neon just ahead of the Ice Cheetah. They've switched positions over the Parliament. There's the corkscrew into the block trade duo. That's lovely work from the Ice Cheetah. He's 0.1 of a second behind Neon, his teammates. Now they exit with the Ice Cheetah moving up, I think. Trying to get past them there. The gap is so close. Look at that. It's less than 0.1 of a second through the gates, but the Ice Cheetah just a little slower from the start to the finish of that 5-gate slalom. Side by side with 0.04 of a second between them when they entered it. About 1/10 when they exited. But the Ice Cheetah has made these turns work beautifully, and he's now moved into the lead. What's happening with the challenge from China Dragons? Well, Ion is a second behind. He's still got them in his vision, but that gap is going the wrong way for him. Neon drops down. Now climbs over the building. Such a lot of altitude changes in this track. Another rooftop here, and then a tight swinging left hand. On board with the Ice Cheetah. Under the trees and then heading back to the main street for the 3rd time through this slalom. He was slower here than Neon before, but there's a bigger gap between them now. Neon, yes, he's gained quite a lot on the Ice Cheetah though because of the slalom. Pushes for the lead, takes it from him at the start of lap number 4. Well, great race going on, but it's between two teammates. The Ion has lost 5 or 6 seconds. Oh, this will be another 7-3 for Cyclone. Surely this 1-2 of the Ice Cheetah and Neon, the only thing in question is which one of them is going to be the one getting 4 points. Over the roof, it's back to being the Ice Cheetah. Trying to get away from Neon, and he's put time between them now. 7/10, which isn't a lot, but it works out as quite a bit in drone racing. Now back to the main street. It's a bit shaky for the Ice Cheetah. Can Neon thread this better? I think the Ice Cheetah's got him, and he does! Win for him. 2nd place for Neon. There's Ion.
Oh no. Okay. I was like, what happened?
And he gets the third.
GG's. 4-4. We're up 8. We just can't let him take 1, 2, 3, 4 now.
The Ice Cheetah winning that race and leading his team of Cyclone Racing. And as he was calculating there, they've got an 8-point lead over China Dragons. Oh, great action between the two purple drones here. Nice seeing some different routes working out and different pilot skills as well. Good for the Ice Cheetah to get a win, as he's quite often supporting teammates getting those wins. This one is all his. So DCL big heat time, an 8-point gap between the teams. There's 10 points on offer. The China Dragons need to be in those top 4 scoring places, and plenty of them. We saw how well Yayu flew that first race between these teams though. He is going to be tough to stop. Gabri was giving it a go and is back in the lead again. Yes, Gabri. Then J-Box and Yayu are around him, but where are the rest of China Dragons? Oh, no. Too far back, too early. Oh, there's a big crash for Gabri, and he's been the fastest of the China Dragon pilots here. Now into the courtyard. Oh, and he's hit the pylon in the middle. Oh, he's hit the hurdle. His rhythm's completely gone. That's what happens after you've had a big crash. Back to the front. Yayu hitting a turn. Oh, he's recovered much quicker, though. There's a big difference in recovery. Yayu manages to just about hang on to second place, but it's his teammates who are threatening to take it from him. Wow, crazy first lap. Second lap starts with Cyclone in a 1-2-3. It's the Ice Cheetah ahead of Yayu, and Creator Gamer from China Dragons hasn't given up yet. He's the only one of them in the scoring places, and he's jostling around fourth, and now trying to take third. Through the Foxeer pair they go. Creator Gamer hunting down these Cyclone pilots. He's got past J-Box. Yayu's got past the Ice Cheetah over the rooftop. Creator Gamer's got past the Ice Cheetah. Yayu's out in front, and his teammates will be trying to let him know while they're still racing that, hang on, it's not all of us now. There's a China Dragons drone and being flown by Creator Gamer, and it's coming for you. We're on board with him now, who's 2 seconds behind Yayu, now 1 second, now into the dive, passes Yayu, who doesn't make the exit. Yayu was through the top of the tower dive. I don't know what happened to him halfway down as he pulled out, missed the exit completely, is still managing to stay in a second, but he's half a second behind Creator Gamer. He's completed the Foxeer pair. This is Yayu's view of the orange drone who's got first from him. Creator Gamer has been fighting throughout this race. It's been going really well for him. Can he stay in the front through the block tray pair? No! Yayu's gone over the top of him and ducks under Gemfan and is away now. Half a second out of nowhere. Just leaving Creator Gamer behind on that technical part over the roofs. We'll go back with China Dragons Creator Gamer into the final lap. Yayu being chased up the tower. He's exited the bottom correctly this time. Creator Gamer won't catch him there, and in fact it's best part of a second. Something seems to have happened to Yayu, and he is on fire and getting away. Creator Gamer was with him, but maybe his resolve is starting to go, and J-Box would like to take second from him, but he's not going to be close enough to do so, I think. This is Creator Gamer, who can't see Yayu anymore. I don't think he's had any really slow parts. Yayu has just got away and then some. We saw how well he was flying here before. You can see how quickly he's going to finish. Okay, a few mistakes all around the way, but it's 4 points again for Yayu. There's Creator Gamer.
Give me those points. Come on. Come on, God.
GG, guys. GG's.
The Ice Cheetah congratulates his teammates. It's Yayu who led them to that win. It wasn't all his all the time, though. Wow, that was a battle on all sides, in all places. Watch Yayu here, he makes the top, but where does he go for the bottom? Misses that bottom gate, and that's why Creator Gamer passed him on lap number 3. Then Yayu, as it comes out of the block trade duo, is just getting ahead. I think Creator Gamer nearly clipped the rooftop, didn't, but lost some time. I never saw Yayu again. Congratulations, Cyclone Racing. Not the tidiest performance we've seen from their pilots, and they'll want to get a bit more practice on that before we race it again on race day 6, but they come away with a big score of 21 points to 9. Elsewhere on race day 5, Raiden Racing, the former world champions, took on Mac 1 and beat them quite substantially, 23 points to 7. That puts Raiden just behind our leaders STT, who were on a bye week, and Quad Force 1 are now tied with the Wildcard team. They'll wish they had beaten them by a bigger score than 16-14. Quad Force 1 will face Mac 1, Raiden will face the China Dragons. Cyclone Racing have a chance to go top of the leaderboard if they can beat the so far undefeated Spain drone team. I'm Matt Andrews, thank you for watching the DCL. Join us again, we'll see you in the skies.